What's good? Y'all know what time it is. We are back. Agent Talk Podcast. What's today? Today is Wednesday, November 11th. We'll get straight to the point. Tonight, I have not talked about this, I don't believe, on the podcast just yet. I don't think we talked about that here. We have a documentary coming out tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1, featuring my dad, myself, George, who is our client, Ajay Hall, who is a player that played for my dad. And it is basically telling our story of how our agency came about a little bit, our vision for our clients, our mission, basically, that my dad and I have set out upon, in a sense, and just kind of telling a little bit of our journey. And it's something that came about really a few years ago. A guy named Josh Danziger from out in LA, I believe, came just somehow knew about my dad. My dad was coaching 7-on-7 football. I think I mentioned this. He coaches a team called Team Tampa, multiple times, more than that now, national champions. He's coached Durrell and James, Vernon Hargraves, Dante Fowler, the Griffin twins, so on and so forth. Individuals that have gone on to be drafted, first round picks, things of that nature. And myself now being an agent, and for us kind of trying to create this, manifest this vision of representing, my dad, working with these players when they're in high school, when they're young, most don't have a father figure, and, trying to be that leader for them, and then building that relationship throughout college, and eventually continuing on to represent them as they get to the NFL. Because as I've talked on before, so many agents and just so many individuals, once you get to that amount of money, that amount of status, they try to manipulate these individuals and just want to be a light to these young men, especially those that come from our own backyard. So documentary coming out tonight. Again, we'll be on 11 p.m. Eastern, Fox Sports 1. I know it is a little late, so for those that might not be up at that time, it will be airing later on, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, so on, really for next week and a half. So definitely check it out if you get a chance. It is called The Long Game. Record it, DVR it, whatever you got, but I think it really will provide some insight into who I am. Again, the vision that we have set out upon with our players, and I'm excited. I'm excited for it for sure. I appreciate anyone that's already reached out to me about watching it or recording it or whatever it might be. I really appreciate the love and support. It really does feel good when your friends or your peers, your family, whatever it might be, when you are acknowledged. There's nothing wrong, I think, with admitting that it does feel good. And so I'm definitely excited. So like I said, definitely tune in. I have not seen it yet, so I'm a little nervous, just a little bit, because I've not seen it just yet. But there's a trailer on my page, on my IG, and then let's check it out for sure. But that's all I got. Outside of that, everything else, I guess, just an update. We just pushing along. Recruiting season, we're kind of reached a point now where we're in the peak of the season itself in regards to the football season. All the conferences right now are playing, and so for us is just trying to put together these presentations, trying to identify how certain guys are playing. There's really not too many Zooms just yet that we're getting into. I think that'll change maybe later on in November, but really just trying to take everything with that in one step at a time. Most of our presentations are ready. We've identified now, I think we have maybe 9 guys, I want to say, on our board that we're actively recruiting, I would say. And so really trying to bring that list down and just to identify, who are going to be the 1, 2, maybe 3 guys that really just kind of gel with the mission and the vision that we're on. So that's one. Our NFL guys, like I said, thankfully they're all healthy. I will see Byron next weekend, going up there, going to see Scotty at the beginning of December. And so just, really grateful for where everything is, has manifested right now in the agency, and the progress that we've made to be able to, even with this going back to the documentary, to be able to, be able to send these trailers and to have some of these guys that we're recruiting to say, hey, you could watch this, because you go through this recruitment cycle, and, every agent's going to have their story, and they're gonna have their spiel and whatnot. So as the parent and the player, they're trying to decipher, who's for real and who's not, who really has the best interest out for our son or for myself or whatever it could be. And so for me, that's really what I'm most thankful about, and where my head is being grateful that certain individuals, certain players that we're looking at right now, that whether it's them or it's their folks, their parents, they can actually watch this and see like, okay, well, this guy that's been, trying to reach out and having these conversations, we're actually able to see him in the interaction. They can see how I talk with George. They're going to see the types of discussions that we have and the dialogue that we use. They're going to see where my mind is at, and they're going to just get an inside look, I think, at, again, what I feel like we bring to the table and the value that we have. We're not an agency that's for everyone. I tell every player that, to every family that, but at the same time, there are those individuals that they're looking for a certain type of thing. And for me, I just tell, I tell these families, I tell these players the same thing. And I think that's hopefully, and what I'm anticipating we'll see tonight with the documentary, is that I just try to be transparent. I try to be vulnerable. I try to help. I try to be of service to our guys. Like, it's not that complicated for me. It's not about the money. It's not about all this. And, I love the marketing. I love when our guys are able to sign that contract or get drafted and things of that nature. But there's just so much more to it for me. It really is more impactful for me when I get a phone call and I could tell that they're getting wiser, or they're getting closer to God, or they're growing in their relationship with their lady or with their family, or trying to get into the investing or trying to grow wealth, whatever it might be. To me, that's really where, because that's long term. Football's only what the NFL, not for long. That's reality. And so for me, that's being able, like yesterday we got on a Zoom. Shout out our team for sure. We're able to get on a Zoom with Byron, and we're talking about, he hit me the other day, basically saying, I want to do a little bit more in regards to the marketing. Okay, we get on the Zoom, we're able to chop it up. They're able to kind of dissect his brain a little bit, see where his mind is at in regards to what does he mean by marketing. Now, he wants to get into gaming. Okay, well, we know how to, you really want to get into the streaming, shout out, follow him on Twitch. I will probably get him on here as well, where he can talk a little bit more on all of that. But he is on Twitch. Check him out on Instagram at I am Byron Cowart, Cowart. Okay, check him out for sure. He's on the streaming. I think he's on the Xbox, I want to say. So hit him up. Big Byron he's a chef, so he's nice in the kitchen with it. So we're definitely looking to create some content with him with Grady Media at Grady Media this off season with him in the kitchen. I thought of it maybe Chef Boyardee. That could be lame. I don't know. I thought it was kind of catchy. Chef Boyardee. Come on. But whatever that might be, and even coming out with a little content segment. And for me, this is free game for anybody listening. It could be something, like I said with Byron, is even if it's 4 weeks and you're able to get 4 episodes on just a little IGTV and YouTube series of you cooking with your favorite 4 recipes, and maybe you get your girl on there once, and he can get a teammate on there one time, and then there's a chef that he knows in the Massachusetts area that he can get on there one time, and then you're mixing everybody else's influence and their following, whatever it could be. To me, it's a no-brainer. So it's just little things like that. I think if we're intentional about it, you can do a lot as an athlete, and just kind of showing who you are. And then another thing he talked about, or really what matters more than anything else, last thing I'll say, is talking about getting into the community. That's why you do all this. That's why you put yourself out there. That's why you allow yourself to be vulnerable, is that you can utilize the wealth and the influence and the impact that you're able to have and benefit those that maybe don't have it. And that's another thing we talked about, is him wanting to be more intentional about getting connected and rooted within the, Foxborough, New England, Massachusetts, Boston, all that area, to really, again, be able to have impact, real impact, and to change lives. So it's really that simple for me. But yeah, that's all I got. Joshua Grady here. Y'all know the things, man. The subscriptions, the reviews, the likes, all of the positives, they really do help. So if this brings any value to you whatsoever, I would appreciate any sort of love on that end. But aside from that, check it out. The Long Game, Fox Sports 1 tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern. Joshua Grady here. Name my voice just cracked. Joshua Grady here. We out.